I'm Vanessa. Thank you so much for coming on to this video. I am a qualified spin instructor and I also am a personal trainer and a group fitness trainer as well, and I really thought that was really overly due to talk about how important spin is for your overall health, your mind, your body and your soul. First of all, we're going to get into kind of like my personal biases of spin, and then we're going to get into some pointers of what to look for in the spin class and what's the benefits to it. If you have a goal, what will you achieve if you do spin regularly, and all those sort of things as well. Now I kind of want to go first of all into how freaking awesome it is. I've been doing this pretty much since the get-go, since over 10 years ago now. I was mentored a lot with a lot of people, and then I ended up getting qualified for it as well, just to learn the logistics of it as well. There's a lot of like really important information to know with spin, just like for example easing yourself into it, and not only that, learning how to set up the bike as well, because setting up the bike is literally everything, and you must come earlier for the class so that you can actually set up your bike properly and be guided on that. Oh, so what is spin? So spin essentially is a high intensity workout that you are on the bike. It's you and the bike and the dial, or the level gear stick, whatever you want to call it. And the gear stick essentially is the weight. So it's like putting on the load, so then you can increase the resistance as you go on with the song, the workout, and the more sort of weight and resistance you have, the more you start to feel in your legs, using your leg muscles to get you through that workout. In other words, you can always call it a hill or a climb. There's all different words. All different instructors have different sort of ways of doing it. Now, having said that, because there is a lot of terminologies that are very different, I think it's really good to just go with whether you enjoy the freestyle or you enjoy something as a bit more Les Mills. I would consider myself as a freestyler. I literally don't know what I'm doing until I'm on the bike, but I have my playlist all set out as well. Some people don't like that. They like that structure. They like to do the exact same routine with every single song exactly the same to the T, and that's pretty much Les Mills to what I know of it. But it's definitely not what I do. I'm personally just love freestyle sort of stuff, and it is something that has been quite successful with my own clientele and my own sort of gym. In saying that though, spin can be very intimidating for most of us, and that's why I would always recommend to give it at least 3 goes, and then you can have a good judgment. The only reason why I say that is because your first class is always the worst. I don't mean that in the literal fact. The way I sort of see it is like, you never know how to swim before, like swimming, and you've just been thrown in the deep end and you have to fend for yourself. That's how I think spin is in a way. Sometimes I could be a little bit like, okay, I don't know what the hell's going on here. And this is why the instructor and the instructions about this are very important as well. If someone was to come to my class, first of all, the first thing I say, I guide them through the setup of the bike, because that's pretty much the most important thing. I would always let them know that there's a target. Try not to surpass that, because that's a bit too much at the moment. Your bum is always going to be sore as well for the first 3 goes. So don't ask me why the bum always gets sore on these seats. Who knows why they've created it this way. But anyway, I also say that, like, you know, if you've done at least 5 sessions, then I feel like you can surpass and push yourself beyond beginner if you feel to as well. Always in general, make sure that you are taking it easy when you do this sort of cardio workout. It is a high intensity workout. It's meant to be up and down, and that's the way high intensity works. You want to bring your heart rate nice and high to around, you know, 75% heart rate max plus, and then you want to bring yourself down and then bring yourself up. You want to be able to, you know, push yourself a little bit and be able to challenge your fitness level through the ups and downs of that. Having said that, even though spin is very much kind of a full body workout in a way, we are mainly working the legs, and it is a quad and glute dominant type of workout. Yes, you heard me right. It's a glute workout, all right? Because the more that you're hinging through your hips in a high or a jog, in this is my terminology by the way, is that the more you're engaging your glutes and also your core. And that is why I think spin is not only amazing for our overall fitness, but also if you've suffered for any knee injuries, ankle injuries, hip injuries, it's so low impact and it's so good for your joints, because not only are you literally burning so many more calories and it's more intense in a way, you're able to put less strain on your joints. I don't know about you guys, but jumping around all the time in HIIT sessions can sometimes do more harm than good, and that's why they only recommend 1 to 2 or even like 3 times a week of HIIT sessions, because any more just gets a little bit too much on our joints. However, with spin, you can sort of do like 3 to even 6 times a week if you wanted to, if your fitness level's there, where you'll be able to actually build on those muscles, especially your knee strength and working on your quad strength, and naturally you're able to build those muscles up, so then you can actually feel better, not only in your joints, but actually be able to heal past injuries that may have gotten in the way in the past. Maybe you can't do a burpee, maybe you can't do a jump squat, but doing a spin workout could actually be more beneficial to your joints. This is why not only is spin just so incredible for your fitness level overall, it's so good for your heart health, your overall cardiovascular system. It also helps you lose weight and also allows you to build muscle as well as lose weight. In saying that though, I do think that having a strength training regime or a routine as well as spin will honestly just be the perfect combo, because not only are you building your muscles, you're able to use spin as a way of that cardio, high intensity kind of workout, which I think is needed for our overall health. Some risk factors that we do need to look into though is it can cause a lot of fatigue. It can cause into a sense of overwhelm to your muscle control, potentially having poor technique, or maybe you're not really utilizing your muscles correctly. This is where I always suggest not to overtrain. Don't do any more that, you know, if you don't have the energy, like, don't force it. I know sometimes it can bring up our energy, but we also want to be realistic as well. With any form of exercise, you can overdo it. You can cause injury and can cause risk to yourself as well. We also want to look into what are some of the benefits. So we want to make sure that, you know, our heart rates are really escalating nice and high, so we can really build on that fitness, build on that cardio, and not only that, really work on the rate of perceived exertion. So that's called RPE. And essentially is from 1 to 10, it's kind of like, you know, grasping on your level of intensity. For example, a sprint, I want you to get near a 10 out of 10, so I would know that you're actually pushing yourself, and with that you're able to see more changes in your body as well. Admit that how great spin is for your bone density, improving your arms, your legs, your pelvis, your spine, especially if you're older, and spin is a really good way to build up the stamina in those areas as well. The good thing about spin is that it builds muscle and it burns fat at the same time. So like I was saying kind of before, is it's a really great way to, especially someone that wants to put on muscle, spin won't allow you to lose a muscle. And that's why they say you should at least do 3 a week at least, because it allows you to once again get the heart rate up, work on the cardio, but also not lose your muscle mass. That's something that sometimes cardio does that, you know, especially with running and stuff. Like if you're doing a lot of that, you're going to lose some of your muscle if you're just doing running, for example, and you built up all your muscle. If you're just doing spin, you're not losing your muscle. In fact, you're just building, and that's why your legs and your glutes can actually be quite built in this, and it just be so beneficial for your overall muscle growth as well. I do highly recommend to stretch very strongly before and after the workout. Your hips are very tight, and it will get really tight if you do it regularly, because your hips aren't really moving too much and there's not much mobility going on. So there's a lot of tightness that tends to happen, especially because when you're sprinting and when you're doing the hills, you're pushing down on those joints and those areas as well. And if you're not stretching that out, especially after the workout, then you're not going to be able to open up those hips more, so you can actually have a bit more range of motion as well. So it's very important to stretch before and after. That's with any workout, but especially with this, make sure you are stretching your hips, because your hips will get tight. They do see in the research 150 minutes a week you should do of, you know, moderate to high or vigorous kind of intensity, which is like high intensity. I would suggest at least doing 3 sessions, or if you want to do the math, 150 minutes per week of that sort of intensity. You do burn a lot of calories in spin, a lot more than anything else, and that's another reason why if you've got injuries or something, highly recommend getting into this. Like, this will change your life. I guess some takeaways, and to wrap up this video is, yes, I sound super biased, I'm an instructor, I love it, but honestly, like, if this hasn't already convinced you how great spin is, then I don't know what I can do here. All right, give it a go, give it at least 3 sessions, and then have a judgment. I know it's not for everyone, but the benefits are just too great. Not only that, you can obviously, if your goal is to lose weight, you can actually keep your lean muscle as well as burn fat. Obviously, they do say in the research as well, having the diet in check too will make it go quicker, as well as resistance training. Don't really just do spin if you want to like have an overall physique. Do resistance training as well as eat well, because that will be the perfect recipe of a lean physique if that's what you're after. But if you're just here for fitness, well, it's got you covered there too, because it really is hitting the spots and the ticks to all the amazing benefits that we are all searching for when it comes to fitness. So book in a spin session. You don't need to go to a bougie one, just saying. There's all different sorts, all different gyms do it, and see what you think of it. And I should also say as well, if you do have indoor cycling shoes, I would highly recommend getting them. That was the biggest game changer for me when I got my cycling shoes. If you guys have any questions or anything, please drop them below. I'll try my best to answer it. I love this. This is literally one of my biggest passions, is literally spin training. It's something that hits the spot, and you know, mentally I feel better, energy, like everything. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for listening to me rant once again. I know I don't do these sit down talks very much, but I feel like I was well and truly overdue that I needed to sit down and talk how great spin is for you. Please like and subscribe. It really helps to grow the channel. Let's try and get this channel a little bit over 200. Can we try and do that, guys? Can you help me out? Can you do it? Can you message your friends? Can you do it? Okay. If you live in Melbourne and you're like near the northern suburbs or near Epping, and see what I'm all about, I'm in Fernwood. I'll see you all in the next video. I post Tuesdays and Fridays, don't forget. And have an awesome day, guys. Keep your active lifestyle up. Start spinning, because it will change your life. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.